kitties. And we can't have a dog. We can have kitties. And if I knew you could look at pictures and understand what was going on, I'd show you. Oh, look at you. Come here. There you go. Okay, let's get down.
What's up, Cliff?
How are you?
I'm good, man. Dude, you just get comfortable over there. You do whatever you need to do. Move
good.
around whatever you need to move
I'm
around.
super comfy.
Fucking A, man. It's good to have you here, dude.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Cliff Moore, my first guest for Musician Metaphysics, where we are going to talk about technology, spirituality. Oh, look at that. Dio's doing a nice little butt scratch across the floor for the intro.
Lead the way, buddy.
Lead the way. It's perfect, man. Thank you, Dio. I'm not sure if that got on camera, but hey, Dio, come on. All right. Don't make me put you in another room. Hey, lay down. Good boy.
Good boy.
So, the one, the only, Mr. Cliff Moore, musician extraordinaire, bundle of
Hi,
joy,
everybody.
basically. That's what I call him.
What's that?
Bundle of joy.
Oh, thank you.
Dude, you can't not see Cliff in a crowd somewhere and just see the happiness and the joy exuding from you, man. It's contagious too, man. Like you really inspired me. Not just recently, in I guess it was beginning of the summer, and we got to talking about just wanting to help people, and people, and not like out of I want somebody to give me a blowjob for it, but
No, right. It's, man, some people get down, they get upset, whatever, life happens.
Yeah.
Man, a good way to fix being down or bummed or even depressed is go help someone. It makes you feel better. I mean, it really, like, you're not expecting anything in return, just some random act of kindness.
Dude, for sure, man.
And it makes you feel so much better. Like, and if you do that on a daily basis,
goosebumps in look at the hair on my arms.
if you do it on a daily basis, then you realize, like, no matter what the news says, what other people are vibing on, you realize, like, man, the world's not a bad place.
Right.
It's just you have to choose what you do. You have to choose what you see, and you choose every day you wake up. You choose your attitude towards it. My father used to say, you can't choose the situations in life, but you can choose your attitude towards them. So
that's good advice, man. I mean, I don't know. I've been through a lot of crap in my life, and there was a lot of times that I did not handle it the right way. I just turned to anger and bitterness, and when I came home from the sandbox, I used to sit outside my porch drinking a fifth of whiskey, just waiting for somebody to walk by and say something to me, so I could just get off my lawn.
Right, yeah.
But
it's easy to do that. I mean,
so easy.
Anger, all the negative emotions, they're really easy.
Super.
They're so easy. Like, it's kind of hard to stay up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it is.
It's hard.
It's like a focus in life.
Sure.
It's really, because oh my Lord, dude, turn on a TV, turn on a radio, hang out in a group. People are bummed, man. Like, there's just, and that's just, it's around us. So I understand, man. Yeah, it's I can understand, especially going through that.
Yeah.
Holy hell.
It's part of the reason why I started this podcast, and one of the big reasons I have wanted you on here first, man, and we were going to get Nick on here too, but everybody knows how Nick is. Cliff was just giving me a lecture about not ruining my career in a sentence. So. Hopefully I didn't just do that. No, Nick, we love Nick. He's going to be on here. But speaking of Nick, that's your main gig, man, is you playing with Nick Schnebelen. And I mean, what's that like?
Man, funny thing. When I first started playing blues, I was with Michael Burks, and that was such a happenstance thing. I was with him for a year, And when I stopped playing with them, I didn't know where I was going to go, didn't know what I wanted to do. And I came back to Kansas City and picked up with my old band, Brother Bagman, which was kind of a jam band. And it was like old times. We had fun. We did some things. Put out another album, did some touring. But it wasn't what I was aiming for.
What was that? What were you aiming for?
Man, it's this thing like from childhood. I fell in love with music, and that's all I wanted to do. It's all I knew I wanted to do. But as time went on and learning how to play with other people, working at the Blue Note back home in Columbia, Missouri, talking to a lot of bands, like what's it like to be on the road. Some bands are pulling up in an old van. Some bands are pulling up in, a $2 million Prevost tour bus, and
nice
completely different perspectives.
Sure. Good word too. Perspective. It's huge.
The people in the van are wanting to be in that Prevost. The people in the Prevost want to stay in the Prevost.
Right.
The
people on the street want to be in the van.
Right. Well, no, it's the truth. Like there's all these different levels and staircases to what a career in music can be. And my dream was to tour. I wanted to go see the world. Coming from a little town in the middle of Missouri, Hallsville, there's not a lot of opportunity there to, at best, if you finish high school,
join the army.
You can join the military. That's one way out. Yep. That's the way to go see the world. Yep. Or you're just
that's the way a lot of people do it.
Yeah, you're stuck there, and if you get lucky and you didn't go on to a higher education, at best you get a factory job.
Sure.
At worst, it's junking. Going around picking up metal and selling it every day.
Yep.
But no, my dream was I wanted to make a career out of it. Obviously have fun doing it, enjoy it, but
put bread on the table.
Yeah, Brother Bagman was fun. It was something to do on the weekends, but we were never going to be touring. We were never going to be that band that did something with themselves.
Right.
So after being with Michael and learning everything he taught me, you're only as good as your last gig.
Right. Dude, that's so good.
You're only as good as your last gig, and you don't know who's watching.
Right.
That man taught me how to be a professional musician. Don't drink.
Say his name again.
Michael Burks.
Michael Burks.
He was on Alligator Records.
Right on.
Amazing human being. He taught me the blues. He grew up playing blues in all the old juke joints down south that his dad owned. Yeah. So all these old cats are teaching him how to play bass, like Chitlin Circuit, juke joints. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he taught me that.
That's awesome.
It's funny. I have made more money off what that man taught me since 2009 than I have in my entire life.
Yeah, man. If you can play the blues well, you can pretty much play anywhere.
You can. And people want to play with you if you have the right attitude. Yeah. But Brother Bagman was just a party band.
I wasn't trying to diminish what you were saying there.
Right. He taught me what it was like to be a professional, and Brother Bagman was never going to be that. And when I caught wind of Nick might possibly be wanting a bass player, he had a good band going.
What year was this? When was this?
2015.
Okay. So that's not that long ago, really.
Really.
It's fairly remote history.
We're this coming fall, 2003 will be 8 years, which
2023, right on.
Which is honestly in the blues world, it's a long time.
It's a really long time.
A lot of guys go through players for whatever reason,
well, we're assholes.
Not everybody.
No, but musicians, some musicians, they're not assholes. Just they have a certain way that they work, and some people just don't work well with that.
Well, and that's true.
Right? You know what I mean? It doesn't mean
when you're the name, when you're the one in front. Man, so much is riding on that.
Yep.
You have the pressure of the booking agency, the record label, your business manager, what your fans expect, right? That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Plus, you're having to take care of all the business. Now, the drummer, the bass player, other guitar player, whatever that band consists of, those people, if they don't see it as a band, they see it as a gun for hire, they're not vested.
Right.
You know, and
yes, that is so good.
They're not, it's not a band, it's a person who hires players. You know, some of the best music I've ever heard in my life was a band. Everyone contributes. You know, but it's really hard once you've made your name to develop a band because, like you said, not everyone gets along.
Right.
Sometimes, you know, honestly, the road is not for everyone.
Yeah.
It's not just a thing you do or a career.
It's a lifestyle.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Some people love it. Some people just don't like it, and that's
right.
it's for you to decide. But that's what I wanted. I don't mind getting up at 3 a.m. after I just slid into bed at 2 a.m. to go drive 10 hours to go play somewhere.
Right.
You know, even though you're tired, you haven't had a lot of sleep in a few days. Man, there's something that happens when you're in a band. Not being a gun for hire, when you're in a band and all the people in the band are friends and you're playing and you look out and you see these people in front of you. The joy in their eyes, the way you're making them feel.
That's why we play, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. I mean, if you're doing it for any other reason, that's sad.
One of the first times ever I had that feeling, and it was probably with the greatest band, you know, it's apples and oranges I've ever been in, but at least the most successful. You know, we were traveling around Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, and we were on Friday Morning Live a bunch of times in Tulsa with Roy D. Mercer and all this stuff. This is back 2009 or 10, you know. And we had just played this show in Oklahoma City at the Brick. I can't remember what it was called, but we overnighted. We partied all night, got up, had to drive to the Mercury. We had a show at the Mercury Lounge in Tulsa that night. So we thought it would be a great idea to eat a bunch of Percocets and go to IHOP before we went to the gig.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
Wow.
So we did that, ate a bunch of food, and then Rosso, God bless his heart, he's not here anymore, but he's basically the reason why I know about tone and foot pedals and all that stuff. He is this germaphobe guy, and he's sitting behind me. And Richie, you know Richie, he's driving my truck. We got a trailer, and I'm like, I'm getting sick. This is back in the day, the GPS. You had to hold the thing, and it was making me sick. And we're driving down the freeway, and I just rolled the window down and Ralphed, and I mean, all over Rosso. We had to pull over.
Bro.
I had a brand new, it was the worst, bro.
And this is before the gig.
This is before the gig. Yes. So this is how this night set up, and it ends up to being one of the most amazing gigs of all time that I've ever been involved in. It was, 2 hours in the gig, something just happened, and we were like that. We were close, man. We played, like Wednesday nights was where we worked on original material. Thursday nights we ran the set every week. That's what we did for weeks or months, years, and we just loved it. And I remember opening my eyes at the end of that night, and the place was packed, dude, wall to wall. People up on the tables, man. It was just like a movie scene, Yeah. And I just remember, I'm getting chills thinking about it now. I just remember, this is why I'm playing. This is what it's all about, you know? And that is it. I mean, that's what we're all hunting for. I hope,
I know some cats that are into it for other reasons, and that's fine. I mean, obviously music's a very personal thing for each of us, each musician, each performer. But it's all about what you take from it, or actually not so much what you take from it, what you give.
Yeah.
It's
a yin and yang, man.
It is. And back to the question you asked, the answer, what am I looking for? I wanted to see, I feel like I have been successful in music.
Definitely.
Back home, I worked at this little spot called Crazy Music for a while. He taught me how to fix and repair guitars. I worked at the Blue Note for 6 years. I just started loading in. I was poor ass musician, so I was my buddy was a production manager, and I was like, man, dude, Government Mule's playing tonight. I don't have enough money for a ticket. What could I do?
Yeah.
What could I do to get in? He's like, well, do you want to load? I'm like, what's that? completely ignorant of everything. He's like, well, show up at this time, man. We're going to have help pushing all the gear in. I'm like, oh, sweet. Nice. He's like, and what you do is you push it in, help whatever help everyone get set things up. He's like, you're in a band. You know how this works. Yeah. He's like, and then when the shows started, man, just watch. You can watch from the side of the stage. It's like, no.
That's awesome.
So here I am. I'm like doing this whole loading thing. And, wow, Government Mule. I'm watching Government Mule. At the end of the night, we load them out, get the trucks loaded, and head out. And I go, Dylan says, come to the bar. And I was like, okay. Dude puts $100 in my hand. I'm like, what's this for? He's like, well, you work tonight.
Busting your ass, yeah.
I was like, what? You're paying me? Like, I just got to see my favorite band, and now you're giving me money for doing this? I'm like, dude, whenever you need help, call me. And that led to me running sound, lights, learning.
Yeah. But I think you kept yourself in a place to be able to be taught, though, too. I think that's a very important thing, right?
Yeah, something happened to me. Throw myself under the bus here.
That's what this is for, Cliff.
Back home.
Little did you know, this the whole hour is just me throwing you under the bus.
I was in a band, and we were called East Ash Street Band. We all lived together. We were all living a dream of trying to be the Grateful Dead. We wanted to live together. We wanted to play together. We wanted to be our family. Yes. We wanted to be a family that lasted forever playing together.
Nothing wrong with that. That's beautiful.
It was. Yeah. But, I was the oldest guy in the band. Everyone was younger than me. And everyone had different ideas about what it should be. And that's fine. Well, I had an opportunity to move to Kansas City. And I took it. But before that happened, we were having a big party, and I had taken some psychedelics, and I thought it'd be a good idea because
Is this when you forgot how to play bass?
This is when I forgot how to play bass.
You told me this story. That's right.
I thought everything was beautiful. So take some psychedelics. Big party in my house. I'm finding everything beautiful. I'm sitting on the front porch with these massive rose bushes, and they're just so beautiful. The wind's blowing, the trees. I'm just like, oh, wow. Wow. And you feel that connection with nature and all that happens with psychedelics. So I'm thinking this is a good idea to go in and play some music. The rest, there's probably like 30 people in our house. This is kind of the norm. We'd always have people over. Then later on in the evening, we'd just play music till the sun came up.
Yeah.
I wanted to play then. I thought I was feeling so inspired from the beauty and everything I was feeling. So I pick up my bass. I just turn my amp on. And I'm playing. My eyes are closed. And I'm like, I'm surrounded by sound. And then there's this tap on my shoulder. I look up. It's my best friend, Todd, the lead singer. He's like, dude, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, dude, I'm just playing, man. He's like, yeah, brother, I love you. It's like, I love you too. It's like, your bass player is turned all the way up and you're shaking the windows in the house. I'm like, oh. He's like, what are you playing? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, okay. He's like, well, I love you.
What a great guy.
Could you turn it down? And,
he knew you were on a trip, right?
He did not.
Oh, he didn't, and he was
until I looked at him.
Right.
Until I looked, and then he's like, that's why he's like, I love you.
Right.
And he's like, maybe just wait a little while till you play. And the way I processed that was, you suck.
Right.
You're destroying the house. Please stop.
Yeah.
That's how that was not his intention. Right.
Yeah.
So I immediately went down this dark hole, man. I went outside and bawled my eyes out. And in my head, I was like, I forgot how to play. I totally took too much of this.
And it erased it all.
So I'm coming to terms with this inside. And worst day, best day of your life kind of thing. So it's 4:00 in the morning. I go back to the sunroom. We have a little TV there with a DVD player. I'm just sitting there really bummed out, questioning life. Up to this point, my whole life has been music.
Right.
I'll have little jobs.
What am I going to do?
Exactly. I forgot how to play it. I'm really bummed out about this.
Right.
I was like, okay, I'm going to power through this. I'm going to find my inner strength and power through this. So I put the DVD in of Festival Express.
Good one.
Great one. And I literally, for the next 2 hours, learned every piece of music, even if it's the weird jamming that's going on the train.
How you did that while you were tripping, man?
Oh, I kept a journal. I still have that journal. I was writing things down like, don't forget this feeling. You learned that. Oh my God.
I was drawing. Send me some stills.
I was drawing art.
Be awesome.
I was, this, like, don't lose these feelings.
That's really good.
And then I put in the Allman Brothers Live at the Beacon and learned that. So it's like 8 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. And I was working for a guy doing drywall, like scrapping.
Yeah.
Like once they get done, you go in and throw it out the window thing. I call him up at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, Joe, why are you calling me? Bro, I got to quit. What? I'm like, I got to quit, dude. Like, I have to play music. I'm sorry, but I won't be to work tomorrow. I have to chase my dream.
That's awesome.
And he's just like, damn it, Cliff. Why are you calling me at 8 o'clock on Sunday, dude? I was up drinking last night. Fuck, man, I get it, but could you call me like at noon?
Later? Yeah.
I was like, what's on my mind right now? He's like, Cliff, have a good morning. Good luck. Bye. And then, like,
are you guys still friends? Do you still know the guy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
No, he actually, like, he's like, I'll never forget that phone call, and I'll be goddamned if you didn't do that.
That's awesome. Heck yeah, man. That's really
and
cool.
it led me down this path. Like, I knew what I wanted to do, and I wanted to. My dream, to answer the question after all this rambling.
No, that's fine.
My dream, bro, is to be able to continue to play music for as long as I can. If it was to end tomorrow, no regrets.
Amen.
No regrets, because I've done everything I wanted to do. Now, when I joined Nick, Brother Bagman wasn't happening, and it broke my heart to quit. It broke their heart too. We'd lived together. Yeah. When I moved here, we lived together. And we're still
family.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And we still are. We have talked about putting
you should. That'd be great.
No, we are. Well, everyone's kind of gone to the wind, and
I would love to help produce it.
It's going to happen. It might be this year, the next year, but we'll get everyone back together and do a few shows around Kansas City and Columbia, maybe St. Joe, some of the places that we played on the regular where we had real fans. But after being with Michael and seeing the world, going to, being at the Blues Music Awards, being on the Blues Cruise, going to Europe several times, is a culture shock for a kid from nowhere, Missouri.
I think it's amazing. I think that's awesome. And
I didn't have time to enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like I was so worried about
happening to you.
Right. It was so new. I never played at that level. I was more focused on the job as opposed to focused on enjoying what I was doing.
Or don't mess this up.
No, exactly. Right. I mean, I'm playing at a level with a man who expects a certain amount of professionalism. And I can't tell you how much I appreciated that.
Nick, professional?
Well, no, Nick. This is later.
I'm just
so I wanted to redeem I wanted to redeem myself. I wanted to, one, feel confident about the music I was playing. Because the time I was with Michael, it took me about 6 months to be comfortable just playing his music, let alone sitting in on a jam, a blues jam.
Yeah.
Like he said, blues is deceptively easy. He's always told me, you can teach a monkey notes, but you can't teach him feel. And the blues is all about the feel.
Yeah.
Especially
you have a great feel, man.
Especially when it comes to the bass. Thanks to that man. He's the one that instilled that in me.
It's smooth. That's what I would, if I could pick one word to encapsulate your bass playing, it would be smooth. Man, between Michael, Wayne, Sharp, the keyboard player, and Chuck, everyone called him Popcorn Loudon, Chuck Popcorn Loudon. Those three gentlemen were older than me, had massive amounts of experience in touring, playing blues. If it wasn't for those three guys, I wouldn't have the knowledge and the confidence that I do now. It was not beat into me, but made very apparent that this is what we expect. Sure.
And only because they had set the bar for themselves. If they're going to bring someone into the fold.
That's a great oven to be in.
Right. But being with Nick, man, when I found out that there's an opportunity to possibly get in with Nick, it was an opportunity for me to redeem myself, to go out, play the music with confidence.
But redeem yourself from what?
Redeem myself from not having fun being with Michael.
Okay.
Like not being able to enjoy what I was doing because I was more focused on learning.
Right.
More focused on the job. I left Michael Burks in 2010 for personal reasons. And up until 2015, I was just kind of like trying to sort out what I wanted to do with my life because I felt like I had accomplished the goal, but then you're kind of left with, now what do I do?
Right.
What do I do? The psychedelic trip I had, carried me to that point. But now it's kind of a humbling thing. Like, what do I do? I started playing with Bagman, and I felt like, well, this is not going to go. I want to redeem myself because I want to go out and do it again and be able to enjoy it.
Right.
Take in where I'm at. Go see things. Like I went to all over Europe but never had a chance to just go walk, see the culture.
That was when I first came on the scene. You guys were just leaving for a tour in Europe.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I met Nick. I don't know if funny story actually. The first time I met you, there's a little tangent here. It was a Sunday jam at Knuckleheads. It was the most hot day ever. It was like one of the first times I'd ever been there on a Sunday. And you played bass for me. And all I remember was, I remember turning around and it was so hot. Like I had a heat stroke almost a heat stroke that day. I was in the bar just drinking water for like 2 hours after my set. And, but I remember turning and going, nobody else wants to sing. And I just see you got this big shit-eating grin on your face. You got the cliff on, the Dickie shirt and the shorts. And you smile and you're like, I can't remember exactly what you said, but you're like, man, it's all you or something like that. But you were back there. I played Professor. I don't know that song. And I was just like, this guy, man, this is so awesome. But I don't know if you undoubtedly don't remember that, but I
do.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I am a self-hater, so I don't. I guess I am memorable. I'm trying to say that now.
You are, brother. You are.
I'm trying to work on the famous instead of infamous.
Right. Aren't we all?
Yeah. In fame, dude, I say that I don't really give a two shits about fame.
It's fleeting.
It is, and I've gone through plenty of it in my life, in different ways. I worked for multi-million-dollar ministries, man. I was traveling around with the biggest Christian rock bands there were. Preaching to thousands of teenagers at a time.
Yeah.
There was nothing fulfilling in that.
Right.
I mean, it was a big giant facade, really. But that was a long tangent.
Oh no, you're fine. Redeeming myself because I want to enjoy it. I want to see.
And you want to give back, kind of too, right?
I learned that. Yeah, like after being in the blues scene so hot and heavy with Michael. I mean, we did like 280.
Say that again, hot and heavy.
Year.
Say hot and heavy again.
Hot and heavy.
Yeah. There's a sound bite for you.
There was no time to stop and take it in, And then when I left, there was that regret of not spending more time going and seeing things.
Right.
So I wanted to kind of redeem myself.
Well, and sometimes in those kind of schedules, you don't really have the time.
No, you don't. You don't, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But darn it, to be from where I come from and to have had those opportunities.
Well, Cliff, let's from now on, whenever we go on a tour, we're going to take the time.
Oh, you have to.
I'm just telling you.
Well,
that.
no, there's no why do it if you're not. I mean, right. Honestly.
Well, my whole philosophy nowadays is, man, I want to make so much money I can give it away every day, and everywhere I go, I want to help somebody. That's what I want to do. And as far as music goes, for me, I would not be here today without Knuckleheads and music and Levittown Jam. I mean, it literally saved my life. I tell Frank that all the time. The camaraderie of getting shit and giving shit. You know how I like to talk a lot of shit. I don't talk shit at all, man. What do you mean? No, but and that whole thing helped me a lot coming out of where I was, and I was still stuck in this victimhood and this PTSD crap. That I did all this, who gives a You know, like, and music has been such an instrumental healing tool for me. I feel like, man, if we all as bands in the community came together, like, and I one day I'd like to just have a fund that I can just fund and give everybody black cards, and wherever they go on a tour or playing a show in some city, they bless somebody. And man, we could change the entire world, that we could change Kansas City that way easily if we just start.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I know, especially like with FIFA coming and the NFL draft coming.
Oh
like,
man,
let's put Kansas City on the map. That's kind of cool.
And as far as music goes, Kansas City has been on the map for
a long time. There's a great history here.
Yeah.
Bebop was invented here.
Dude, this is the episode for getting chills and goosebumps. Cliff Moore.
Being with Nick has been a blessing. Trampled Underfoot, his family band, did amazing things.
That's one thing I wish I could have been. I wish I was around to see some of that.
Such amazing things. They really helped. They really helped kind of redefine Kansas City on an international level. Yeah. They really did, and they worked their guts out. And when they competed in the IBC and won that year, and Nick won the Albert King Guitarist of the World Award and all that. That's an accomplishment. They worked hard. Yeah. It wasn't given.
Why do people think that this stuff is just given to you?
No, I know.
Why is that?
Danielle.
She's one of the hardest working women in show business, man.
And there again, she powered through as a female, in a male driven dominant genre,
and through tragedies that family has come.
Yeah. I mean, and has risen. Like that family did amazing things at Trample. They really put an eye on Kansas City.
Yeah,
they really helped people seek out blues in Kansas City. It's had its scene forever, but to have eyes turned towards it, they were really big proponent in that.
Well, I'm hoping that we're going to get Brandon and Danielle on here, but I want to preface it with a funny story about Danielle. I told Brandon this a few months ago. He laughed his ass off, but so I had never seen Danielle before play ever. And it was Jan's benefit. This is when I'm in the scene now, and I'm like, me and Jan have become really good friends, and I'm walking around Knuckleheads in a suit with a Tupperware full of pop brownies. The first time I got in there, I'm Jack's intern. Frank's yelling at people, and I'm just like trying to, and that night I'm high just from licking the bowl, and I'm passing out these brownies. We'll let them tell the stories if they want to, but of those that partook. But Jan tried to take the whole thing. I was like, Jan, no, you can't have the whole thing, buddy. I'm just so much.
Share, bro.
Yeah. But so I'm out there. Danielle's playing. I've still got great shots of it, too. And right when it's all quiet, I yell, "Have my baby!"
Wow.
Yeah. That was pretty much the response. Jack turns to me and goes, "What are you doing?" I'm just like,
whoops.
Yep.
No filter, sorry.
I mean, I feel awkward now saying it. So imagine how I felt then.
Wow.
Anyway, imagine how surprised and happy I was when I told Danielle that story at backstage one day at Knuckleheads, and she laughed, and it was all good. But boy, that was my introduction to. She's badass, man. That's why I yelled that. I didn't know anything.
Every time I've listened to her perform, I get goosebumps.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude, you want to talk about something crazy? It was really hard. She had asked me, so not trying to be like fanboy. Sorry, Danielle.
Hey, we're gonna be. I'm a
sorry.
fanboy.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're
I'm not throwing you under the bus. Just I've got to tell this story.
Awesome. You heard it here.
Danielle had reached out to me and asked me. She was doing an awesome thing as a tribute to Etta James and Aretha Franklin.
Cool.
And she does these yearly things right the day before Thanksgiving, these big shows at Knuckleheads.
Yeah.
And
sells them out too every year.
Oh, every year. I mean, how could she not? But she got a hold of me and asked if I would be her bass player. Now, Danielle
asking for
is an amazing bass player.
How many times has she won Bass Player of the Year?
Oh my God, she's like nominated every year, and I'm like always have my fingers crossed that she wins. It's like
she's never won it.
Oh, yes.
I thought she's won it.
No, she has.
Times.
I don't want to misquote and say how many times. I'm
a lot. It's been a
lot. And not only that, so I'm an avid Bass Player magazine subscriber. Have been since I was a kid. Danielle's been in like two or three issues, and like to see a friend, like someone who you know personally in a magazine that you've been subscribing to since you're a teenager. I'm 48. You know, I was like Danielle's. I'm like trying to be a fanboy, and she, you know, one of my favorite bass players, and definitely one of my favorite female vocalists. Reach out to me and ask me to play bass for her. Like seriously, one of my favorite bass players. I'm just like,
that's amazing.
What?
That's one of those confirmation deals, man, in your life.
Dude, like for real. Yeah. And so we have some rehearsals, and we're, you know, I'm, you know, I think Danielle's the same way. We talked about this once. Like she was playing bass with North Mississippi All Stars for a while. You know,
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, man! Like freaked me out because they're one of my favorite bands, right? Like,
of course.
I'm like, I know her. Dude. You know what I mean? Like, holy shit, that's Danielle. Like what? She told me this story about they called out this song. They're like jamming or something. And if you're a bass player, the worst thing that can happen is someone just like throw a song out that you don't know. Because when we mess up, the whole world hears it. Right, you know what I mean? There's a lot of responsibility to play bass. You
can't Victor Wooten your way out of that one.
No, you cannot. You know, either everyone's going to think the rest of the band's out of tune or they're going to know that you're messing up.
Right.
But she powered through it and got through it. But, you know, she knows what it's like to be a bass player. So she was being super helpful, and I wanted to give her the best performance I could. And the night of the show, it was so hard playing bass for Danielle because I've got her right in my monitor.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael always taught me, if you want to know what the tempo is for a song, listen to the singer.
Yeah.
They'll let you know right where it's at. Just follow them.
Yeah, that's good advice. Plus,
I'm like on stage with Danielle. I'm not going to want to hear her sing, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude! I'm sitting there playing. I'm reading my charts. You know, Adam Hagerman is to my left. You know, he's my boy. We've been playing for years. On my right is Damon Parker.
Nice.
You know, he was in Brother Bagman. We've been playing for years. And who else is on stage? There's so many people. But Danielle's like literally right in front of me, and she starts hitting some of these notes, man. I'm playing some of my favorite bass lines. And I have to remind myself that I'm performing because, like, the goosebump thing's happening. Yeah. And I was just like, God, dude, you're playing right now. You're playing for her. Like, get over it.
Don't mess it up.
Right. So that was like my total fanboy moment with Danielle. Cool. Like, freaked me out.
Well, man, I have fanboy with Nick, too. I mean, for me, whenever Nick called me and asked me to open for him at the record bar, that was like huge.
A fun show.
For me, I was just like, I mean, you know, like I said, most musicians, I don't know, it's 75% crippling self-doubt.
Right? No, it is.
You know, and so to have that, I mean, you know, you can see on my screensavers, it'll say, don't give up, you know, or like, I think an important thing to learn from people like Danielle and Nick and all those people that we look up to is they bust their ass. And I think that's something that musicians need to hear nowadays, is because, especially in this day and age of, just got to get your one video to one certain place or this one certain thing. No, man, it's all about being consistent and not quitting and just in the face of utter failure, continuing to move.
It is so true. My first gig with Michael, I was at we're at a juke joint outside of Jackson, Mississippi, right? We didn't have any rehearsal at all.
Oh, that's the blues, man.
No, it is. I mean, that's a fact. It really is.
Yeah.
The place is sold out, and I flubbed some stuff. I was just so nervous, so anxious. I never played with these guys before.
Yeah.
Right?
And dude, that's intense. I mean, any kind of a stage where you got bright lights and people looking at you.
Oh no, this wasn't bright lights, bro. This was a juke
joint. Gotcha.
Like,
gotcha.
We only serve beer in bottles, and we only have whiskey on.
Okay.
There's a guy in the back on this monster barbecue with a mopping sauce.
That sounds like my kind of place.
Oh, dude, it was incredible. It was incredible. The floorboards are moving when the people are dancing, bro. It's that kind of place.
Awesome.
Old school.
Awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
I flipped some stuff. I was very nervous. I'm sitting here now. I know who Michael Burks is. You know, I couldn't tell you how many blues music awards he's won.
Yeah.
Guitar accolades. Yeah. Been in Guitar Player magazines. All these things.
I've never heard a bad thing about it.
I was so freaked out, man, because Michael was a very intense man when it came to the music. He knew what he wanted, and if you flubbed, he's gonna let you know that you'd messed up.
Right.
You know, and it was. I took it so hard. You want to talk about like your own confidence, you know? Dude, I went back to the hotel room that night and was staring at myself in the mirror, preparing to be fired.
Wow.
Preparing to be fired. In my head.
You felt like it was that drastic.
I had here's my one chance. I had to convince Cole and Landon and Brother Bagman that this guy wanted to hire me. Cole understood. Landon was my best friend. We knew each other back in Columbia. I brought him into Brother Bagman.
Yeah. His
heart was broken, and I saw it when I told him. Cole understood. It's like, dude, how can you not do that? You're going to go all over the world and play with this big-time blues artist. You know, I had not ducked out, but I was like, well, I'm going to move back home with my mom and dad for about a month so I can save my money and try and learn all this stuff without any distractions.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. My parents at that time, you know, $1,500 was a lot of money to my parents back then.
Of course. It's a lot of money to anybody.
Right, exactly. Yeah. They gave me that to help me get a little bit of gear, get set for touring.
That's so crucial and important.
Right. Like, that's just my parents. They always supported what I did.
Shout out to them.
But here I am, like...
Shout out to Cliff's parents for being so awesome.
All of that. Leaving my friends, leaving Kansas City, my parents helping me out.
But you moved out. You took steps. It wasn't like you...
I just didn't jump into the pool. No. Right. But that's here I am. Smart. I went through all that, and I'm sitting here in this mirror looking at myself and like... You had one shot, and you ruined it.
So you were having your Eminem 8 Mile moment,
right? Like, no, for real, man.
Yeah,
like for real. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm just sitting there staring at myself. And I was like, what are you going to do now, Cliff? Like, I guess talk to the guys in the band and Brother Bagman. You know, see what I can do because we're at this juke joint for 2 nights.
Yeah.
So I'm laying in bed.
What did you mess up that was so bad?
I just flubbed. I was trying to be perfection. I didn't.
Okay.
Right. And I kept getting Wayne.
You were trying too hard.
Trying too hard and being way too nervous.
Gotcha.
You know, everyone in the band was like looking at me like, "What are you doing? Like missing a turn or something?" You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I was just so nervous. I'm laying in bed, man. I can't sleep. It's like 5 a.m. I'm like, you got to sleep. You know. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning. My phone rings. It's Michael.
That's an early call for a musician.
Yeah. He's like, what are you doing? Oh, nothing, man. Just sitting here. Well, we're all meeting downstairs for breakfast in 30 minutes. Come down. Okay, I'll be down there. And I'm like, here we go.
That's how you sounded too. Okay, I'll be
down there. I was like, I was defeated.
Right.
I was. I get down there, and I sit down next to Michael and puts his arm around my shoulder. And here I'm thinking, here comes the well kid, you know.
Yeah.
And he's like, how you doing this morning? I'm like, I just was blatantly honest with him. I was like, I'm not doing good at all, man. I didn't sleep. I understand if you're going to fire me. You know, I'm really apologetic about not hitting where you need it, you know, just about everything. Yeah. I was like, you know, I'll offer you this. You know, if you want your old bass player to come back, man, I'll be your roadie and I'll drive for you till I learn everything. You know, and he just looked at me and was like, and he looked at Popcorn and Wayne and was like,
what are you talking about?
He's like, son, he hugs me. He says, son, you did fine.
That's awesome.
He's like, you know, I know I was being a little hard on you and Wayne was being hard on you. It was your first night. He's like, what we're going to do, I talked to the guys last night. We're going to go over to the venue and we're going to work on a few things. You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, man. I almost cried.
Yeah.
You know, because I thought my whole life was just.
Sure.
So we go back to the.
There's
venue.
a lesson there.
Oh yeah, don't beat yourself up.
Yeah.
Man.
Don't.
Went back. He taught me. We worked on things, and 3 nights later, comes over and shows me his fingers, and they're just chewed up. He's like, I haven't played that hard in a long time, son, and you're pushing me to play that way. It's like you're getting there.
That's awesome,
and that felt so good.
That's good.
So I understand that, man, and adversity. Yeah. We all face it. It's a very real thing, and I will tell you this, man. When I left the Blue Note, when I came to Kansas City, Dylan McCord, I love him so much. I love you, Dylan. If you ever hear this, you were such a catalyst for me moving here. When I left, he told me this. He's like, "You'll be back. You'll be back. You'll be back here working just like me." I was like, brother, when I come back here, I'll be playing on this damn stage. I didn't go back to the Blue Note till we got booked with awesome. Nick. And I walked in, he comes up and he just has his arms open and we just give this big hug. He's like, I'm so proud of you.
That's so awesome.
You know, I would tell you this. Statistically speaking, folks, where I come from is very rural Missouri, very poor Missouri, very not a lot of opportunity Missouri. You're doing really amazing if you make it out of high school. Right. Without having committed a crime, having kids, having done something really stupid, before you actually graduate. And graduating, you have accomplished more than about 60% of the people in that area. Right. Meth, alcoholism. It was we affectionately called it country ghetto, man, because that's exactly what it was. Yeah. There ain't no differentiation in race, creed, religion, color.
I was just about to say
when
that.
You're poor. Yeah. You're poor. Right. We all ate black, white, Mexican,
commodity cheese.
We had you had that old Cool Whip bowl that had red stains in it from having eaten like right. Always same SpaghettiOs. Yeah. What none of us better than anybody else, Yeah. But to leave there, and chase my dream of becoming a musician. And yeah, I've been all over the world. I've played with some big names. I'm not going to boast about what I've did. It's not what this is about. What it is about is persistence. Yeah. And you're going to kick yourself in the ass for things. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to question whether this is what I want to do. You'll know if it's what you want to do when you don't ever stop. Yep. If it's your dream to play music and whatever level, man, like my idea of success could be way different than yours, sure. Anybody. That doesn't matter. What matters is that you don't give up. If it means something to you, if you feel something when you play music, don't ever stop. Yep. It's not about someone else telling you you're not going to make it. It's about you telling yourself. Yep. Looking in that 100%. Mirror that night, having that realization that I had just screwed up my dream, which wasn't the case, but dealing with that in my head. That was pretty traumatic for me.
Right, but I think there you have a good mechanism there that I think a lot of players could use. I think sometimes I always, the needle for me always tips towards the I fucked up part. you know what I mean?
Me too.
But I think that keeps me humble.
Yes.
So
me too, brother.
Yeah, me too. And I think that's Quincy Jones said that insecurity or ego is just insecurity dressed up.
Oh, it is.
And have some swagger, but don't be an asshole. Man. It's all about. I wish everybody would get on the same page about helping each other out. Sharing each other's stuff when you see it online. I'm not just saying that because this is what I do. I'm saying it because that's what's going to benefit everyone. If we'd all get on the love boat,
It's a community.
Yeah.
You're just starting. I've been at it for a little while. I'm out touring. You will be.
Sure.
There's literally nothing different between you. There's nothing different between you and me. I promise you that. I've just been at it longer.
Sure.
Okay. And, that just because I'm where I'm at,
But there is something different between you and me, Cliff, and that's what's the beauty of it is.
Well, there is a difference, but I'm saying
I know
with,
what you
with
mean.
the
I'm
drive,
just busting your balls.
right? With the drive, and because you love music, that's so apparent.
Yeah,
you know, you love it to death.
And I love one things that I love the most about music, and I'm sure you can tell. Most of the criticisms I get is you got too much shit going on, because I want to get everybody involved. I love.
Oh, when you're like recording.
Yeah, when I'm recording, it's like I want everybody on the record. It's just me. I love having everybody in the studio. I feed off the energy of everybody in there.
Yeah. If that's the way you do it, that's the way you do it. Don't, you're dealing with guys that, myself included, man. I had spent countless hours in a studio. I love it.
Yeah,
I love being in the studio because you're creating.
Yeah, that's
music.
Where I love to be.
Music. For no other reason than think of it as a blank canvas. Go sling some paint, man.
Yeah,
it's art. So
it's
never competitive. All these people that want to say, "Oh, he's better than
it's apples and oranges, man." As far as I'm concerned,
it's art, and don't let it be anything else than that.
Dude, and I have people ask me all the time because especially over the summer, I did shows with Hudspeth, with Nick, with Howard Mahan, freaking everybody, and everybody's like, "Well, who's the better guitar player?" It's like, don't ask me that. Asking me that's like asking me if I killed somebody in Afghanistan.
Don't ask them that either. They'll
tell you, I know. It's stupid. It's apples and oranges, man. They're all amazing players, and they all bring amazing things to whatever they're doing.
And they all paint with different colors.
That's right. Exactly.
They do.
And the beauty of them as well is they're all willing to play with. I mean, when I was asking people to do these shows with me, I was just dumbfounded at all the yeses. I was just like, what? These people like me? They want to play with me? What? And that's a cool thing, but I never would have got that feeling if I hadn't put myself out there and asked and also busted my balls playing and, dude, when I got on the scene, I followed Dave Hayes around like a little puppy dog, man. I helped him load in. I helped him load out. That's what
Such an amazing guy. Such an amazing musician.
Yes, man. Dave, one of the most underrated people in Kansas City by far.
I'll tell you this, man. With all my travels and things, we're blessed here in Kansas City, and I really truly mean that. All you musicians and people in the scene here in Kansas City, fans, everybody. You don't know how blessed we are because, Memphis, Austin, LA, New York, those are very competitive cities.
Super competitive.
A lot. I'm not saying like people aren't friendly,
but they're not looking out for you.
They're not. They're looking out for themselves. Nashville is really,
cutthroat.
If you're trying to, you're very cutthroat. They're not being mean. It's just. They have to put food on the table,
right? And there's a lot of people in competition with
there is. We have a thriving scene here. It's almost as thriving as these other places I've mentioned.
Yeah, totally.
But the difference between us and these other places that are known for music is those places. I feel it's just my opinion. Are very competitive. Here in Kansas City, we're very cooperative.
Yeah.
It is a community.
I think it's
I'm playing a
better.
gig with him Friday night,
Yep.
And I'm happy to do that. I'm blessed to be playing with him.
And I'm paying him $1 million.
Really?
It's in my new coin that I'm debuting.
The contract?
He's like, I just got a mean cheese platter, man.
What's awesome. I didn't know. Well, shit. I've won. I'm done touring, Nick. I'm getting $1 million, bro. We're going to
find a bass player.
We're going to get a tour bus, and we're going to do it the right way. We're going in style now, brother. No, man.
If I had $1 million to give you, I would.
Oh well, then you're coming on the road with us then.
Man,
see that's. I mean, you hear those people. What would you do if you got $1 million? Oh, I just get a better touring vehicle.
Shoot,
I'd probably get a better. I'd add to my bass rig and stuff, but. I would put it towards continuing my dream.
I've got goals, man. Like the first 100K, all this stuff. What I want to do, eventually I would like to have a one-stop shop, man, or I'd like to have a sound stage, my residence, a studio, and have like a graphic art place, man. So people, and if I could call it "We Won't Fuck You in the Ass Records," I would, but that won't fit on the letterhead.
Yeah. You might get a little.
So Jam Killer Productions is what
that's great.
With, but you know, my goal is, like I said, man, I'd like. It doesn't take a lot to fill my needs. You know what I mean? And if I got extra, it's all going back, man. There's no reason to be. You know what I mean? Like I don't. I had to flip a switch to get that way, though. You know what I mean?
Oh
like
yeah,
people,
yeah.
I guess, and it was a switch that wasn't flipped very easily. I mean, for a long time, I guess we can kind of transition a little bit to the metaphysics of the podcast, but you know, I was so tied up in what I thought God called me to do and called me to be, and what all these people were telling me God was telling me to do, right? And once I finally got through and all of that bullshit, I was able to actually see life without all the filters and all the crap and be like, this is worth living. And I just want to be here and help people see this beauty in it and not all this guilt and this shame and this running around trying to not look at women's asses.
Well, you know, the older you get, the less you want to do that for some reason. It's like a funny joke in a way. Yeah.
Well, I just kind of threw that in there as a joke because, you know, when you're trying to be this pure Christian, it's like, you know, every glance you can't look at a woman or you're lusting at her. You know, that's what I was talking about. The bullshit that you get tied into.
That has, I think, has been a thing for a very long time.
Yeah,
you have an instinct, you know, the animal instinct, whatever you want to call it, of, you know, there's a duality of religion versus humanity. You know, why are we programmed this way, but yet you tell us to be this way?
Right.
You
it's a system of control.
Well, yeah, and obviously, you know, it is a system of control to a point. But I also believe it had religion has good intentions.
Yeah, I think
it does, because you put, you know, if everyone just kind of had, like, you had your family, you, your wife, your kids, and you're out in the woods. There's not a lot of competition for resources. You know, I mean that. And then you have your thing. But the minute you introduce another family, okay, can we establish a set of rules so we don't
start killing
so we can make this work,
right?
Make it cooperative.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you don't have to have God in there for that, though.
I think having the idea of someone watching you all the time instills that.
So we're gonna go the communist route.
Well, no,
just kidding.
You have this all-seeing, all-knowing.
Sure. Right.
Thing.
And I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I don't, and I'm only voicing this so loudly right now in my life because it was such, I mean, I'm talking about decades of my life. You know, I've got a master's degree in theology from Liberty University. You can't get much more right-wing conservative.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I'll show. It's
That's
framed.
cool.
It's in my room.
Right on, man.
Should I bring it out for everyone to see? No.
Hey, if they don't believe me, that's their problem.
Yeah, you can look it up. But, you know, and so everything that, I mean, my music, everything, like I release Christian music. Why do we need more Christian artists? Why don't we just get artists that are Christian?
What did it do for you, though? When you did,
it did nothing for me but make me feel like I wasn't enough.
Were you born into it? I mean, your family?
Oh yeah.
Okay, understandable.
Totally. And then I was one of these kids where we grew up charismatic Christian, and anytime they took us somewhere, I would get singled out of the crowd, prophesied over, right? Told, this has started happening to me when I was very young.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Pulled out of the crowd, you know, lay hands on me. God's got this giant call in your life. You're going to do it, you know, for my entire adolescence. When I was 14, I went on a mission trip to Venezuela by myself, not with my family, with a group.
14?
At 14, yeah.
Wow.
when I was 21, by the time I was 21, I was working for this multi-million-dollar ministry, traveling around these giant choir the fire events. I was speaking to pastors and youth pastors. I mean, all kinds. If there was a measure for success in that realm, I had hit it.
Okay.
I mean, I was on TV, TBN, all this total, and I look back at it because all it was a young, egotistical kid. I was 21 years old, charismatic, good looking. I'm still charismatic and good looking, but and they used me. Pretty much is all that was. And then for the rest of my life, I had this guilt and shame that I didn't live up to what I was supposed to live up to because I failed at that, because it didn't work out. You know what I mean? And then my whole life after I came back from the war in Afghanistan, it was like, where's my purpose? Where's all this? You're supposed to be giving this to me, God, and that's when I actually got my master's degree, was when I came back from Afghanistan. I had all this time and all this, money and stuff. And if I didn't do that, I was going to end up in jail somewhere because of my angry mind. So I just went in the books. I finished my BA in communications, and then I went on to get my master's. And if I hadn't have done that, I probably would be dead or in jail. So I'll credit that. I mean, I do think there is some value in religious traditions, like you're saying. Totally.
Oh,
it's just when we take those to such a point to where I'm willing to murder you because you don't believe in the God that I believe in.
That is, I don't understand that. I never have, and I never will. I was raised spiritual. I was. The things that my parents taught me, more so my mom, than my father. My father was in Vietnam. He was a soldier. He saw, I don't want to.
Props to your dad, man.
Yeah.
That's
I have massive respect for anyone.
Yeah.
You are going to fight for a government. Whatever your ideology is, when you leave, thinking you're protecting people, that fact, or just trying to better yourself, and I get it. Coming from where I
thought I was going to be John Rambo, man.
Well, no. There's just the hero thing. There's the, I get to go shoot a gun. I get that. Being from where I'm from, it's an opportunity to get the hell out. For my dad, it was a get the hell out of, I don't want to go down a hole in West Virginia before the sun comes up and then crawl out of that hole after the sun's went down, covered in soot from coal,
mining,
digging coal out of a mountainside for nothing.
Where are your parents at now?
My mother passed 8 years ago.
I'm sorry.
No, she had a beautiful life, and I was blessed to have as much time with her as I had. My father's still back home, lives in this house that I was raised in.
Right on. Well, saying hi to Papa Cliff.
Hey, Dad. Now I'm on the TV. I'm on your computer. I'll teach you how to see this. No, man. I understand that, and you've seen it. I don't have to tell you. I have been fortunate not to seen it, and firsthand, and I don't know if I'd want to.
No, I would never want you to see that.
I wouldn't. I know it changed me, but having the father I had, I wouldn't know what to expect.
Well, mad respect, dude, because even as a veteran, a combat veteran like I am, when I see a veteran that has a Vietnam veteran hat, I make it a point to go over and say thank you to
I'm the same way with any veteran.
Well,
dude, thank you, because thanks, man. You chose to do that. No one held a gun to your head. You chose to do that. For whatever reason, you made that decision.
It was my kid. Really,
you did chose. You chose that,
so I could do something.
That's ballsy, because you are literally putting yourself in harm's way. It's like a firefighter. I
didn't join up. It was a time of war when I joined. So
no, and even same with my dad.
Yeah.
You know
where you're going.
My mother was spiritual, and I took a lot from that. And I, being from a small town, there's a lot of churches.
I hope that vape.
Oh no, you're fine.
Sitting over here vaping up a chimney.
Lots of churches, man. kind of had my pick if I wanted to. I couldn't tell you all the different denominations and what have you, but I had choices, and my parents were open minded to let me try that out.
Well, that's good.
And I'd went to one once, and I had my own experience, and I left there just a little disillusioned. But I made my peace with that right then and there. I'm like, okay, well, this works for you, not for me.
Right.
We're cool.
And that's fine. I have no problem with that at all. It's the wanting to make laws, wanting to tell people that they can't get married if they're gay.
That part.
That is bullshit.
I will never understand.
Yeah.
When you say control, I understand people are trying to get you to live their idea of what they want. Is that godly? I don't think so.
Cliff, I think part of it nowadays, I mean, I don't know. I'm starting to wake the fuck up is what I'm saying. Like society in general nowadays has built us to consume. If you think about it, we're born, we're schooled, we're told we need to get some kind of a job, right? That's going to be in some kind of thing that is definitely not 9 times out of 10 is not going to be benefiting you. I mean, you're gonna get resources from working that job, but you're benefiting somebody.
Yes,
somebody else.
That has all civilizations since Babylon.
Yeah, but I don't know, maybe not to this much extent.
No, they didn't have the resources.
Right.
Like we do. No, they had the resources. They just didn't have the
the internet.
Right.
Or all of the control mechanisms. Well, they invented one. In religion, that's how they started to control populations. Well, especially when you get to Constantine and Catholicism, it just goes nuts.
Well, he was just saving his butt, bro.
He was what?
He was saving his ass.
Yeah, he was a pagan. He didn't really give a shit.
Man, when you're at the top of the pyramid, man, you kind of got to do what everyone else below you is wanting you to do because you're there.
And the church had become very powerful at that time.
It had
extremely powerful.
It had,
and if you think about the Catholic Church, they didn't allow you to read the Bible. All right,
most people didn't know how to read
for millennia.
Back then.
Yeah, but even if you did know how to read it, you couldn't.
Right,
it was forbidden. Only priests could read the Bible. So that's why it was such a huge deal when Martin Luther came out, and separated from Catholicism and printed. I mean, they were killing people for printing the Bible.
Yeah,
the church was literally their families killing them, erasing them from fucking history.
This I know. This I know about religion, man. When you went with your Greece, when you went to see the priests at whatever shrine you're going to, say the one of Zeus, right?
Sure.
They had offering baskets. Well, for some people, it's a way. I see religion being a way to minimize the suffering of life.
No,
as in such a word, we humans are born with the knowledge that we're going to die.
Yep.
That can be quite stressful, especially when you don't know when it's going to happen.
Right.
And
we don't.
You don't. So every day is a blessing. But when you don't know, and aren't we an insane species when we don't know something, we freak out.
Yeah.
I mean, you freak out when you don't know where your phone's at.
Oh God, it's like
right. I mean, like for real.
It's literally a thing now. There's all these studies you can look at it. Like I'm sure it's happened to you. You didn't have your phone in your pocket, but you felt it vibrate.
Freak out. Yeah, dude. It's like, my lifeline.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 48. I remember a time when a phone call, you had a wire attached to it.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, and you were way cool if you had a cordless, or before that, the giant long cord. Remember you could take.
I'm going to the bathroom so I can talk to my friends so you guys don't hear my stuff.
Did you ever have the community lines, the party lines back in the day?
Where I grew up, yes, you could pick up the phone and listen to other people talking. Which, in a small community, there again, everyone knows everyone's business.
Yep, we had the same thing growing up.
As a matter of fact, my dad still has a landline.
Most of our parents
I appreciate that. I do. But no, man, religion's been a weird thing for me in my life because I've seen it do really amazing things for people, and I've seen it be a thumb on things. And all I know is I have an idea of what happens when I pass, and it's I doubt many people.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. I'd love to hear
Honestly?
it. Yeah. That's what this is all about, man.
My idea on death.
You're wrong.
No one knows this because I've never really talked about this to very few people, and I guess it's now time to share with
awesome
the world.
Nobody's gonna watch this, Cliff.
So when I was a kid,
I'm just kidding. 5
or 6 years old. I was with my aunt, my mother's sister, and she lived in a place that had like a small lake, and they had like a beach there. We went swimming. You know, my aunt took me swimming. It was July. You know, go hang out with my aunt. She's babysitting me for the weekend. She had a lake. I love to swim. I was a good swimmer. You know.
Yeah.
I'm in the lake, and all of a sudden, this is how my memory goes, man. I'm in the lake, and all of a sudden, I'm underwater because I love swimming underwater, and I just felt myself sinking. And I look up, and I think I'm swimming.
How old were you?
I think I was either 5 or 6 years old.
Okay.
Probably 5. And I'm swimming, but I'm still going down, right? And all of a sudden, I feel like I'm drinking water. It tastes like shit. I remember this. And then it got dark. And then it was bright bright. Bright. Like, have you ever, like, done the dumbass thing and look at the sun there in the middle of the day?
Sure.
That bright.
Yeah.
But it didn't hurt to look at it. Then all of a sudden, I'm, like, flipping out on this because I consciously know that I'm underwater, right? And then all of a sudden, in this massive light, there's these little things floating around that are even brighter. And they're starting to come around me. And I'm like, I feel very comfortable. And it's the weirdest sensation I've ever had in my life, right? Even now.
I almost can feel it right now. Very like
I'm like looking around.
Like
these things are floating around me, dude. I'm just like, okay, well, I'm kind of comfortable. And one of them touches me. And the next thing I know, I'm hacking up a bunch of water.
So you had
my aunt had said that she was checking my pulse after some guy saw me going down apparently, and I went down almost 20 feet.
So you just bit off more than you could chew.
I drowned.
Didn't remember.
I literally drowned.
Man.
I didn't have, when they pulled me up onto the beach, my aunt, who's actually a nurse, said I had no pulse. I wasn't breathing. I had no pulse. She did the whole pushing on the chest, freaking out thing. And I remember, like water coming out of my nose, my mouth, and be like, oh, this sucks. I felt my body was sore, man, like sore as hell.
Yeah. And
all I thought about at that moment was, where were the little lights? I felt so good.
That's really cool, man.
That's all I knew. And my aunt was like, she said that I was dead more than 2 minutes.
Man, I think that what you just said could give some people a lot of comfort to know that, because, dude, whenever I went through this season in my life where I just decided that Yahweh was not the God that's in control of everything, I can't find historical evidence for Jesus, not the white Jesus that's in the Bible.
Yeah,
and I came to the realization, well, I guess I'm going to hell. And for like 2 weeks,
nothing of hell, man.
For like 2 weeks, man, I'm just in this despair of like, if I'm making this decision, that means I'm going to burn in hell for eternity. According to this God. Right? And so through that 2 weeks, I finally
not according to that God. According to the people that wrote the book
according
about
to
that guy.
according to
right, man.
Catholicism, who invented hell. Basically, they invented the whole thing. You can go read about it. Don't take my word for anything. I don't want anything that I say. I want you to go fucking check it. Go look for it yourself, because I'm not going to say anything that's bullshit or try to run you down some kind of fucking crazy lie. That's what I'm trying to expose, is all the bullshit. I think church is a scam. I think it's been a scam so long, just like I said in my last podcast, it's like paying taxes on something twice. We've been doing it for so long. we don't even care anymore, you know?
Right.
And what is good about church is the community. That is what people get the healing from. It's not from this mystical Yahweh or even Jesus. It's from the community in the fellowship that you get, believing, knowing that you're in a company with people that believe the same way you do can be incredibly beneficial to your health and your psyche.
Yeah.
And that's scientific fact. But then to ascribe it to, all the answers, the earth is only 6,000 years old. The beliefs don't stand up. Christianity becomes a religion of excuses,
Right. I can see that. I know what you mean. I guess to answer your question with my spirituality is, after experiencing that, and
I'm sorry for the rabbit
trail.
Oh,
no, you're fine. After experiencing that in my life, and here's where I think religion uses it in a bad way. After experiencing that at 5 years old, right? I no longer have a fear of death. I don't have a fear.
Dude, I don't have a fear of death after hearing that.
One more time.
I'm serious, Cliff.
Like,
I don't have a fear of death after hearing that.
Fear is a mind killer. Yep. Fear will keep
Dune.
You. Yeah, but it's so true.
Fear is the mind killer.
It really is.
It is, dude.
In
anything.
Okay, I'm living my dream. I'm living my best life, right?
Yeah.
You know why? Because I faced the fear of doing it and
failing
and deciding that it was based on nothing. Like you have to come to this realization. It worked out really well when we were on the savannah back in the day in Africa. Humanity. Yeah. When a lion pops up, fight or flight is great, right? Yeah. And that's that mechanism in humanity worked really well for us when lions, tigers, and bears, would jump out of the bush and look at you like they're really hungry.
And that proves,
you're like, okay, I don't have to outrun the bear; it's got to outrun your ass.
But just that what you're saying there disproves Christianity. Automatically.
But the problem with that is fear. That fear,
yeah,
is a survival mechanism that we're programmed with. Yes. Okay, it's survival.
Oh yeah,
I know all about fight or
flight.
Right. So once humanity started clumping up, once we started having civilization, once we were able to figure out how things grow.
But this is not even my personal belief. I'm interjecting again. I know. I'm sorry. Maybe I should come up with podcast rules, like where you only get like 2 or 3 of these podcasts. So that way I don't end my career before it starts, right, Cliff? No, but like there was an ancient civilization way before us, man.
Oh,
like this isn't even the first time.
Oh no!
Like this is could be multiple. Dio, you really went in on this conversation?
He's like, I believe Cliff's confident.
He's a believer. Dio, I love you, buddy, but we're trying to have a show.
Thank you, buddy.
Okay, he's gonna come over here. But I'm just so into that right now that's why it's like evolutionary biology is so to deny that in us.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. But there again, fear, fight or flight. When we started coming up with civilization, we started grouping together. We sorted out how these crops can be reproduced every year. Right. Thanks to the sun. We learned that, as a group, we can defend ourselves. So fear, the fight or flight mechanism in humanity over a very long time. Yep. From back then, like
hundreds of thousands.
We're leaving savannah. We're into the crescent, the fertile crescent now. We're grouping up. We're having little huts. There's a society there.
I'm going to change you. You're running the mainstream history, man.
Well, just as
Graham Hancock would be pissed.
So we have this fear inside. It was fight or flight. It's turned into this other word nowadays. It's turned into anxiety.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this. What I've learned, I guess, about living your dream, spirituality, all this is fear. Fear can be used to control.
Yep.
And it also can control. You can control yourself with it. It can actually overtake you to keep you from doing.
And it can also save your life.
It can. Yeah. It really can. So, my spirituality is, after experiencing that, not fearing death anymore, I've come to the realization that I don't have my life is finite. But
your experience here.
My experience here is finite. Yeah. So I'm going to try and make the most out of this time I have here, however much time that is. Each day I wake up, I'm blessed for that day.
Yeah.
I can't change what happened yesterday. I sure as hell am not a wizard and can tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. The best I can do is what time I have today and what I do today. Bottom line on my spirituality. Science has proven.
That's a bad word.
Science has proven energy is neither created nor destroyed. It transmutates. And the easiest
now you're talking my language. Now you're talking thrice great Hermes, man.
So here
as above, so below.
The easiest way for me to explain what I'm trying to lay down is you have a battery. It's full of power, full of energy, full of electricity. Let's get this correct. You can put that battery in a radio. You can put that battery in a flashlight. Each one of those things, when the switch is turned on, turn into waves.
Yep.
Be it sound waves or light waves. Waves are waves.
You're speaking
you have troughs and you have peaks. Now, those waves are energy, and it's being released into the universe, not just
light,
the planet.
Even light. Sound is light.
It's a wave that will perpetuate. So energy is never created nor destroyed. So everything right now, as you're experiencing it, we're experiencing it, is electricity being fired in our synapses, and that's being maintained by our heart using electricity to pump to keep this thing running.
Yeah.
Religion, spirituality, whatever you want to call this thing, energy is never created nor destroyed. I am of energy, as we all are. We all are atoms. Atoms are...
Atom, as in Hagermans?
Yes. These little Adam Hagermans that we're all made of. The universe is made of. These little Adam Hagermans they're never started nor they never stop. Okay? So if energy is never created and destroyed and we are of this, then what the hell are we afraid of?
Amen.
The only thing I can think of us being afraid of is our consciousness.
Yep.
We have experienced this life in this form, and we're taking in all this information, like being outside, watching this beautiful planet do its thing.
And I think that's what the ancients back then were more tuned into and we are not now, is the planet and nature. Like, I think if you want to be a leader, you got to take one DMT trip.
I think the whole planet should drop acid.
Dude, everybody should do
the connection you feel with everything.
It should be mandatory.
You realize when this happens, and most people that I have talked to that have taken some sort of psychedelic drug have had the same exact experience I have. You feel this overwhelming connection with everything around you, not just people, but plants, everything that's alive. You actually understand. You have this understanding after the fact.
You can feel it even sometimes.
You really can. You really can.
It's like a rhythm.
It is. It's a wave, man.
Yeah.
I mean, for real. You understand that, and you start to realize that, rules.
I don't have all the answers.
No one does. Right. We're babes in this thing, man.
I have found the more that I study and the more that I learn, the least I know.
Oh God, yeah, because it leads to more questions.
Yeah.
But
that's why, Cliff, I can't. I will listen to what anybody believes. I'll get wholeheartedly. But if you can't look me in the eyes and tell me that you don't know, I'm not going to listen.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know for sure. This is my best take. Then I'll be okay. But if you're trying to tell me these are the answers and I know the mind of God, I'm running.
That's scary.
Oh, dude, I've had people tell me that my whole life, man.
One of the most, I'm looking for the word to describe it. One of the most shocking / enlightening thing I've ever witnessed in my life was I literally watched someone lose their belief system.
I think you've told me about this.
Quickly.
Yeah. Wasn't it the Zeitgeist?
Yes.
Yeah.
A friend of mine turned me on to it.
Yeah, you can watch this movie, but I would fast forward the initial credits.
Yeah, that takes a minute. Fast forward all. It's going to piss you off, honestly.
Yeah, it did me too.
Watch this. I watched a friend. I had seen it. It didn't shake me because
you were already
of my
rolling down that kind of.
I was already had my experience with death, and I'm like, well, yeah,
I've already died.
I've crossed this thing. I died, and I can tell you unequivocally that I didn't arrive at a gates. So I didn't know this at 5 years old. Right. I learned this after. I learned this after the fact.
You have no taint.
Last time I checked, I do.
No, you know what I mean. I meant the world had not tainted you.
No, I haven't come across that information.
You had
yet.
no taint.
I hadn't. Yeah, honestly, I hadn't. And after I heard about that, I was like, well, that is completely not what bullshit. There was no gate. There was no dude sitting there waiting to see if I,
play your life in front.
Get my ticket punched.
Right.
Nor did I have any knowledge of any hell or burning lake or any.
No, I think nonsense. I do think that. Well, and I'll let you finish your thoughts. I apologize for. I keep interjecting.
Having that, I can tell you unequivocally that in my experience of dying, that was not the case. I don't know if my experience was mine and mine alone. All I know is what happened to me. I can't. That's the thing about death.
Beautiful.
No one's went far enough
and come back
to tell what happened. So
you ever see that movie Flatliners?
Oh yeah,
that was one of my favorites.
I'm like, no. And there it is again. We have a.
Or fear. What was the old school one with Christopher Walken, where they put the thing on their brain, remember, and they died. The kid killed himself and had it on. It was an old movie, Dreamscape or something like that.
I never watched
Crazy old movie.
So what I know of death, I was like, I'm not fearing this. Most people fear what they don't know, and of course we don't know what death is. It's been. If you watch TV or open a magazine, you see some of these horrific deaths. Very rarely do you hear of someone laid down peacefully, fell asleep, and never woke up. That doesn't sell tickets.
That's a great way to.
Yeah, that doesn't sell tickets. That doesn't. So
peaceful transition into death.
Right.
Yeah. We'd rather the violent, horrible death.
It's usually portrayed that way. So you have this massive fear of dying a horrible death, and then what? I think religion uses that fear of
it's a crutch
to control people to think the way they think. And what I know of religions, I'm talking about worldwide, there's a basis to it.
Sure.
Of please be cool to each other.
Yeah, right?
In my
Jesus
mind,
said, don't be an asshole.
Yeah. Just be cool to each other. Try not to be an asshole. When you can help.
Yeah.
I think people even back then kind of knew that helping
That's
someone makes you
Let's say that again, Cliff. Number 1, don't be an asshole.
Hashtag don't be a dick, dude.
Number 2.
Alexis Barclay.
Help when you can.
Hell yeah, man. To live in a community is to be a part of a bigger organism that collectively has to take care of each other.
Yeah. That doesn't mean money. You can help somebody with. It doesn't have to be monetary. Just man, Cliff. For one example, I'm going to use Cliff because I love this dude a lot. That's why he's the first person on this podcast, by the way. But one day I was down in the dumps. I started Jam Killer gear and got the shop going and all this stuff, which is just another amazing story. I never would have thought. You'd have told me I'd be wearing my shoes a year ago. I'd be like, go fuck yourself.
Why are you? Because you never stopped.
I never stopped. No, I never stopped. And I didn't listen to people saying that's never going to work or nobody's going to. You can't listen to that shit because you're going to have a million of those.
Oh God!
To the one Cliff, and I'm going to get to. So I was having a shitty day, And I was like, man, this fucking Jam Killer shit's stupid. I don't know why I'm investing all this money and da 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 da. And then lo and behold, I get this alert from Shopify. And Cliff Moore just bought a hat for Jam Killer gear. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm supposed to be doing this. It was just,
I loved it.
It was awesome. So that's one of those things. That was now you did buy something, but you didn't, you did help me in other ways way before that. But, that was just the universe. You were tuned into the universe that day, and the universe knew I needed an up, and it totally was just like, oh my God.
Well, no, that makes me feel good.
Dio loves you too for it.
I know, I love him very much. My friend watched Zeitgeist. Yeah. Zeitgeist. How do you pronounce it?
There we go. Back to Zeitgeist.
Man, he had been raised, he wasn't religious, but he had been to church. His parents.
It was in his worldview.
It was, and it's not, like I said, I thought he went to church or anything, but he had that instilled in him.
Right.
And in the back of his head, he thought when he goes to die, he was going to see Jesus and then the boys.
St. Peter at the gate.
Right. Now that whole thing. And after watching that, I experienced watching another human being lose their belief system. He was crushed.
Dude, I was devastated.
He was, I felt so bad for him. Like, I remember giving him a hug.
But it's good. It's actually, it's a
good
hurt.
It is. And I don't know. I don't say I think everyone should experience that, but
I do. I would venture to say, if your belief system has gotten you to a point that you're so dogmatic that you can't even hear other people's,
that's bad.
You need to have an experience.
Step back.
Yeah.
Really. He turned it around, but it took him about 6 months to find.
Well, you feel like
you're left with what's
the point?
Why am I here?
Right.
What's my purpose in life?
Back to square one.
You know what? Who gives a damn about purpose?
Well,
honestly, I mean, let's take a look at this. Like with music, you're born with a blank canvas, man. What's your purpose?
It's one of those things that
sling paint, man.
Yeah, it's true.
Like
it's kind of a simplistic way of looking at life, though.
But isn't it? It's so fleeting, but we are on a tiny little piece of dirt, rock stuff,
of the universe,
circling around a big ass hydrogen bomb that's flying through through nothingness at millions of miles an hour, expanding as we go, and
we're just a fraction of the universe.
We are so tiny and so insignificant.
But that also is what makes us so important, I think. Because
it's not though.
Well, I think that that's kind of what people need, though. If you lose the religion and you lose your purpose, you know what we're talking about here. Now, I'm talking as a soldier, okay? Like when I came home from Afghanistan and I didn't have a purpose, man, my life was over, dude. I mean, that's why all my friends started killing themselves.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I understand that.
You come home and you're like, I had a multi-million-dollar truck that was in my name. I had guys' lives. It's like decisions mattered you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, it's like that scene in the Hurt Locker. You're standing in Walmart looking at Keurig cups. And you're like, what the fuck is...
What a different stimulus.
Yeah. And so I would have to disagree a little. I would have to push back a little bit on the purpose thing, because for me, I had to have a purpose to be able to latch on. I had to have something to grab onto out of that hole.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Understandable.
Yeah.
Of course.
So, and it was like my purpose was, it was a long road because I was applying all this religion to it, was, but that God had given me these gifts, i.e. music and, charismatic, and I can talk and I like to write, things, all these things. And I want to use them to help people get out of the hole that I was in.
Right.
That's how I found my purpose, kind of thing. Is that really a purpose, or is that just me putting a placeholder somewhere in my psyche?
Oh no, so of course, man. There it is again. You question things like, is this a purpose or is this me coping?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably some of both. you know,
Such is life, though.
Yeah, I agree.
I guess when I say purpose be damned, and the whole thing, like, you know.
But even a part of something has a purpose. Here's a quote
from one of my favorite stories. You know, we're searching for a meaning. We're searching for a purpose. We're searching, why are we here? What's life mean? Fucking A, man. The best answer I've ever heard in my life, 42.
42?
You ever, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yeah, 42.
And you know what 42 means? The guy that wrote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, when he wrote that, all right, it was a great movie. There's a miniseries back in the 70s. There's a movie here within the last...
book.
Great book.
Yep.
He was a programmer for computers.
Right, 41.
When you're programming a computer, the number 42 is an asterisk.
Yeah.
And when you're programming, an asterisk can be anything.
Anything. Placeholder.
It can be anything. So, you know, taking from my experience of dying and I guess coming back or pre-dying
experiencing
or
it. No, yeah, you know, I think that's
not really, going all the way through the pipe, but about halfway.
I think that was a gift in itself, actually. You being able to see that.
It was for me. It was like, oh, so that's what happens at that young of an age.
What a gift!
Right? Because that led me to be like, well, what the fuck am I afraid of? You know,
right,
like
well,
I don't have to fear. If this is what's going to happen when it all ends, well, I didn't want to leave. Like I was. For a split second, I was a little upset about...
Right. A lot of people that have those experiences are like that.
Yeah, I was upset about laying
getting
on a beach.
Jerked out of there.
You know, I'm like, oh, well, thanks, well, I think.
I guess, all right, we'll wind it down on this. First off, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart.
My pleasure.
For being my first guest on Musician Metaphysics. I couldn't have asked for a better one. Dio... obviously is in love with you.
Oh, look at that belly. Buddy.
But tying it all in, you know, I started writing a book a couple months ago.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be years in the making, but the title's a mouthful. But it's spirituality, technology, and the culmination of the end of the religious age. And basically, I'm going to be attacking a lot of foundational things, not just in Christianity, but in a lot of things. But the basic belief that I'm kind of developing is one of ancient Egypt, really. It's in Thoth and thrice great Hermes. If you want to talk Roman, you know, just ancient wisdom, you know, the Emerald Tablets, you can research some of that stuff. But it's basically that God is a mind, a giant mind, basically a giant consciousness, the consciousness where all other consciousness derive from, right? It's not necessarily dictating or anything. It just is. And that to tie into that main consciousness, to be able to have joined to that is what real religion is, because you lose yourself and it's just the whole.
One big external hard drive.
Yeah. Well, maybe not but you know
what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
All knowledge.
Yeah.
All consciousness.
And the cool thing that they're finding now, I mean, this is Harvard peer-reviewed research. DNA, you can store more information in a strand of DNA than you can in a server farm. You know what I mean? And they're finding all this that pretty soon you're going to be able, like, you're going to store all your information on yourself, your DNA, and that's how you're going to be able to like go through wormholes and stuff like that. Because basically, all of your information is just going to get rebuilt, kind of thing.
Right.
This is all real science that they're working on right now, and it's insane.
I think it's great.
Yes,
I mean,
but they had to get through all the dogma.
Well, yeah,
all the dogma, and the cool thing about what's happening now, and that's one of the reasons why I started this podcast, because it's like, honestly, if you think that this was something that I was like thrilled about, and like this. It was a hard decision to make, and I got a lot of hate from some people when I first came out with this thing, you know.
Well,
so
bro, you're right smack dab in the middle of the
yeah,
Bible Belt.
I
mean,
know.
Of course you are.
I expected it. But so, you know, I don't want people to think that this is any kind of a ploy for recognition or anything. My desire in this podcast is that something beautiful will come out of it, our discussions and our thoughts, and that people can kind of peel away some of the foundational bullshit that we've been taught and start, you know, finding the real and the authentic in life. That's my goal.
I think it's awesome. You know, music and metaphysics. You know, in my mind, they're one and the same.
Amen.
And the reason I say that is, you know, every religion out there serves a purpose. I've seen people lose hope, and hope is a human thing. And some people are like, hope is false. You should act. You know, don't sit there and hope for something to happen. Make it happen. Well, yeah, but hope will get you to that.
Yeah,
will get you
and
through
whoever's saying that is full of shit because you have to have something to act upon.
Exactly. It's true though. Which you'll see. I have heard people say that.
Yeah, I have.
You know, the whole. We all have them. Whatever brings you out of that, a faith in something. I believe everyone should have faith in something. More so yourself than other things.
That's what I even pray to nowadays. You know, this might sound really weird, but I found myself, because I was praying to God constantly in my life. And so now what I pray to when I find myself praying is to my higher self.
Yeah, man.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh, no, it does. You got to have something to aim at.
Yeah, to the best person that I know that I could be. That is what I'm praying, or my thoughts, you know, that consciousness, that person is there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, and even if you think about all these things they're finding in quantum physics about the multiverses and string theory,
that's kind of cool.
Like there's another you, Cliff.
Oh, yeah.
Somewhere else doing something totally different.
It'd be cool to shake his hand.
Yeah, I know, right? Or that has given me hope, you know, because when you tear down some of these things, it does give me hope that I can be the best Fletch that I can be.
Yeah, man.
And even when I fuck up, I don't have to get so hard on myself. I can acknowledge it, accept the responsibility for what I did that was wrong, and then move forward.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the best thing for everyone.
I totally agree with you. You know, like you're saying, I firmly believe in freedom.
Yep.
Freedom to believe what you want, freedom to, within reason, folks.
Yeah.
Don't go out and be an asshole. Be kind.
Yeah.
You'll have a lot better.
My religion is asshole.
Yeah. You know, don't be a dick. But I don't dog on religion at all. I understand its purpose. I understand how it helps people. I know what you're speaking of, man.
Yeah, I'm a little hard on it just because
there's rules. There's all these things that don't make sense. There's the timeline's kind of messed up.
Kind
of dinosaur thing. I'm being kind to my Christian friends.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, just because I don't believe them, I'm not going to knock them.
I know.
You know what I mean? I mean, and
yeah.
I have done my research as you have, and I've found my own flaws in things.
Sure.
And I'll carry that with me. You know, I don't feel it's in my own body. I don't feel it's my responsibility to change someone's view on anything.
Sure.
All I hope for them is they live their life and be as happy as they can every day. You know, live a good life, a happy life, a simple life.
But that's a whole podcast right there.
And when you get to the end, man, no regrets. You're moving forward.
Yep.
But with the metaphysical music thing, you know, music changes things. Music changes people's emotional state.
It opens them up.
You can relive a moment in your life.
Yep.
There's so many things that music can do. You know, metaphysics is the same way. By diving into each part of it, you know, you realize that the more you know, the more you don't know.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things I love about music, I'm a welder. I know how to run heavy equipment. I know how to do flat glass, mirrors, flat tables, glazer.
Cool.
I have a CDL. I know how to drive big trucks. I'm a mechanic. I've studied all these things. It gets to a point where you've mastered something.
Right.
There's no more you can learn about fixing a car.
Sure.
I have hot rodded this thing. It runs 8 seconds to the traps at a quarter mile.
That's as much as I can do.
This is as far as I can take this. Music. You could live 10 lifetimes and still have never experienced all that music has to give.
Right.
Metaphysics. The premise of it. Not a million lifetimes would it take to understand the universe.
Eternity.
I mean,
it will take eternity.
Right. And then you might still want a few hours left after it.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
it's a thing that you can. It's a never ending growth, and life is short. Life is finite. Life is where the purpose, the meaning of it, all that. Man, if you're gonna, sorry
No,
to everybody, this is just my feelings, and I mean this wholeheartedly. If you're going to waste time, what we have is time, here and here. What we choose to do between it is up to us. No one else. No one's holding the gun here, at least in this country.
Right.
You have time. You have a finite amount of time. If and I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings at all. We have time. If you waste time on futile things, if you waste time focusing on the why you're here as opposed to enjoying you here, right, you're going to waste time and miss out on the beauty that this life offers. Some people choose to see the dark. Choose to see the light. Go outside and look up.
Yep.
Look up. See that beautiful sky.
Take a breath.
Just take a deep breath and understand. Take your shoes off. Take your socks off. Put your feet
ground yourself
on the ground.
Yeah.
Feel a part of what you are part. We're all a part of this. We're all flying through the universe on this damn little rock together. You know, we're experiencing it in so many different ways, man. Enjoy the experience. Enjoy the fact that you're alive today and that you can do something with it. Don't worry about yesterday. Try and correct it today. Don't get caught up in what may become. Don't get caught up in worried about your religious thing or your work thing. Or just enjoy it. Like, life is small, man. Go out and learn something. Listen to some music. Learn how to play music. Like, it's the same. It's one and the same, man. You're born. You have a blank canvas. Paint. Sometimes you get a really shitty deck of cards, man. You know, some people really do, and it's sad that happens. But there it is. You have a choice to either be a victim of that circumstance or look at yourself as, I survived that.
Yep, that's what you got to do.
How can I take this strength and persevere through more adversity in my life?
Yep. And how can I help other people?
Take that knowledge of that survival and help other people find their happiness in life, purpose, meaning. Man, happiness in life.
And even that can be fickle, happiness.
Oh, yeah, it's not going to happen every day.
I kind of like the word content.
Finding
a place, you know, if you can find yourself content at the end of every day, that's the best way to live.
Exhale.
Yeah. All right. I think that's where we're going to leave it here, man.
Thanks for having me, man. This has been great.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
We're going to, or you got to come to the show. On
Friday night at Vivo.
Cliff's first show with me.
Yeah.
It's not like he's ever played with me or anything. Yeah.